The government is concerned about these patterns of behavior, which, as my colleague minister have indicated, has serious implications for the country as we get deeper into the festive season. I want to make the point that it is not the government's intention to stifle the entertainment sector. That argument is being put out there, Madam Speaker. The government has no intention in stifling the entertainment sector, but we are guided by the advice of the health sector, and we are saying at this time, no permits for any events, no parties, no bike shows, neither round robin, neither open or shut your mouth. There is no such permit, Madam Speaker, that has been granted. We note, Madam Speaker, and I want to commend the security forces, because when we get the information about these activities and we pass it on to them, Madam Speaker, they are quick on the draw. They go out there, Madam Speaker, shut down many of these events. Thousands of persons, hundreds of events have been stopped by the police. And we note with concern that the security force has been attacked, even murdered. And we want to condemn those actions and to commit to the security forces our support as they make a valiant attempt to bring law and order to this sector. I'm very heartened, Madam Speaker, that many Jamaicans have been reporting these matters. And I want to use the opportunity in appealing for the public support in a practical way for us to maintain the effectiveness of the disaster risk management order. We are putting in measures, Madam Speaker, the local authorities, working closely with the Ministry of Health. And the member from St. Mary Central raised the question of town crier. It was a program that we had early in the response. And I want to assure this Honourable House that commencing next week, all 14 municipalities across Jamaica will be fitted with town criers to go through the various towns and communities with a message beseeching, begging, and asking persons to observe these protocols, Madam Speaker. I'm aware of questions being raised by vendors about the operating hours of markets across the country. Accordingly, the order specifies that market will be open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays to Saturdays. Markets are not permitted to be open on Sundays or on public holidays, Madam Speaker. And the markets, the vendors will be allowed to operate and close 1 hour before the commencement of the curfew. I know that there are vendors raising concerns about the hours, but Madam Speaker, we have to throw caution to the wind. As my colleague says, the numbers are getting higher and higher, and we cannot be a government that does not listen, and the country should listen to the government. And I am urging the vendors to play their part in helping us to contain the spread of COVID-19. The other challenge we face, Madam Speaker, is that at this time of the year, the country generates an enormous amount of garbage right through the Christmas into the New Year period, Madam Speaker. The National Solid Waste Management Authority is already implementing late-night operations in many communities. In some communities, they are working 24 hours. The dump is open 24 hours a day, Madam Speaker. They are employing additional sweepers, and they are making sure that all the areas, the public spaces across the country is adequately swept and the garbage, Madam Speaker, collected and taken to the disposal site. But I want to say something about this. It makes no sense, the entity putting these measures, but the response from the Jamaican people is, boy, me no business. There has to be, at this time, a sense of responsibility coming from Jamaicans in how they dispose of their garbage, Madam Speaker. The entity will be putting on additional trucks, and they have been doing so taking into consideration the impact that the rains have had on the collection of garbage over the last couple of weeks. The municipal corporation, the police, working closely with the National Solid Waste Management Authority, will be working assiduously over the next couple of weeks to ensure that we have a clean country, not just for Christmas, but we should commit ourselves going into the new year for a cleaner Jamaica. Madam Speaker, I announced in August a special partnership between the Ministry, the Office of Disaster Preparedness, and Digicel. In that announcement, Madam Speaker, I indicated that Digicel will be making a contribution to the local authorities in the fight against COVID-19. And they committed to provide 100 washing stations. And those washing stations, Madam Speaker, is now in the island and will be distributed across the country in our major town centers. And I am urging the public to use these stations in the proper way and to use the floor of the Parliament to say how grateful we are to Digicel Jamaica for the contribution of this 100 hand washing station, which will go a far way in assisting us in the fight against COVID. And I urge other entities to be as generous as Digicel, as collectively we respond to the crisis that we are facing, Madam Speaker. I want to make the point that we can get 10,000 hand washing stations. We can get all the vaccine in the world, Madam Speaker. But the only cure for this virus is the discipline and the commitment of the Jamaican people, Madam Speaker. If there's no will for us, Madam Speaker, we will never get over this hurdle. Finally, Madam Speaker, as you all know, the government, this administration, has taken a real interest in those in the society who are most at risk. And I speak of our infirmaries, Madam Speaker. I want to say that we as a country must be proud of our performance in maintaining a very high standard amongst the nearly 2,000 residents who resides in our infirmaries across the country. Since the advent of COVID, we have only had 5 cases, Madam Speaker, in 3 infirmaries across the country, and I can say we have done well, Madam Speaker, and to the Ministry of Health and the Board of Supervision and the staff of these infirmaries who have demonstrated a high level of responsibility. Since the measures have been put in, the residents in these infirmaries have not had the visit of loved ones as they normally do. Close to 1,000 residents across the country, based on the record that we have had, have shown that on a weekly or monthly basis, these residents are visited by loved ones and relatives. That has not been the case since March. So the government has taken a decision that Christmas is a time of giving, a time of sharing. And we are going to use the means of technology, Madam Speaker, by providing smartphones and tablets and the necessary facilities to allow the residents in these infirmaries to have access to see and to speak to their relatives and friends by the means of technology, Madam Speaker. We will be doing this right through until the end of January. And we are going to be engaging the Ministry of Health in discussions to see how best we can address a real issue. There is a waiting list of over 570 Jamaicans who are waiting to gain admission into the various infirmaries and golden age homes across the country. The number may be high. We are not sure if we are in a position to have so many bed spaces. But we are going to be looking at, Madam Speaker, working with my colleague, Minister of Health, on a system next year to see how we can, in a responsible way, look to give consideration to those who are in need. Madam Speaker, the Christmas will not be lost on our infirmaries. We will still continue to have the annual Christmas dinner, but that the dinner will be catered for and taken to the facility where the staff and the residents on Christmas Day will sit down and have their Christmas meal. We will make provisions for Boxing Day and for New Year's Day. And I'm encouraging residents and persons who would normally support the infirmaries, continue to do so, but you will not be allowed to go in personally to partake with the residents because of these safety protocols. Not just are we taking care of the nearly 2,000 residents within our infirmary, but there's a growing street population, Madam Speaker. Thanks to the Minister of Finance, we have gotten a little bit more money. And I want to assure the country that the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, through the Board of Supervision and the local authorities, will continue to provide for the 2,100 persons who are living on the streets of Jamaica. We will continue to provide 2 meals a day until the end of January next year, Madam Speaker. So in closing, Madam Speaker, I would like to encourage my fellow Jamaicans not to take this COVID thing for a joke. And I want to repeat, no permits will be granted for any events taking place across the country. We will be working closely with the police to ensure that law and order is maintained. And there will be a team out there on a daily and nightly basis, Madam Speaker, that will be policing the various areas and will be providing information as necessary, Madam Speaker. I thank you and my colleagues.